The man thought to be behind the Paris attacks is dead, but French police say tensions are still high.
In an exclusive interview with the LSU student who found internet fame with a speech on how to seduce women.
Plus, one restaurant chain is changing the way you pay for bills, and they pay their servers.
Newsbeat starts right now.
Good evening and welcome to Newsbeat. I'm Michael Edmondson.
And I'm Jackie Massey. A bill requiring Syrian and Iraqi refugees to pass strict background checks before entering the country passed in the House of Representatives today. With near-unanimous support from Republicans and support from 47 Democrats, the vote suspends the program that allows refugees into the country until national security agencies certify they don't pose a security risk. The 289 who approved the bill creates a majority that could override President Barack Obama's promise veto. A key figure in Friday's Paris massacre has been killed. This comes nearly a week after 129 people lost their lives in that coordinated attack. CNN's Diane Gallagher has the latest from Paris.
We're learning more about Abdelhamid Abaoud, the alleged ringleader of Friday's deadly attacks across Paris. He was killed Wednesday during an intense 6-hour battle with French law enforcement in a Paris suburb. Now, the battle was so intense in the end, investigators needed prints to confirm his identity. Experts warn that just because one operative is taken out doesn't mean the battle is anywhere near over.
With the death of this individual, there's still an enterprise investigation, as the FBI calls it, which is to take down the entire network.
There are about a half dozen Belgian and French jihadis who are part of ISIS who've moved up the hierarchy of ISIS, who've been working together to plot attacks against France and Europe.
France's interior minister says Abaoud has been involved in 4 previous foiled plots. He's promising to push European officials to better work together to fight terrorism, since French officials didn't even know Abaoud was in France until just 3 days after Friday's attack. The intensity of those attacks is evident in this video from DailyMail.com. Now, the footage was shot inside La Casa Nostra Cafe. As it came under fire from a gunman, you can see the people running for cover as a barrage of bullets fill the cafe. Belgian law enforcement conducted half a dozen raids in Brussels Thursday, focusing on the friends and family of one of the Paris attackers, Bilal Adfi. Police say that he blew himself up outside the Stade de France. Meanwhile, France's lower house of parliament approved extending the state of emergency through February. The upper house will take up the measure tomorrow. Reporting in Paris, I'm Diane Gallagher.
Despite the stress created by recent events, Paris saw little light yesterday as trees around the Champs-Élysées lit up for the holiday season. FBI Director James Comey announced today there are no connections between the Paris attackers and the U.S. During a briefing with Attorney General Loretta Lynch, Comey also said there are credible threats targeting the U.S. He added the FBI has increased surveillance of dozens who are at risk of copying the Paris attacks.
Well, stateside, feelings about groups like ISIS are rising. A Denver bookstore was a target of anger and frustration because of the name of ISIS in its title. The owner of ISIS Books and Gifts says her store has been vandalized and targeted by people who associate it with the ISIS terrorist group. Someone threw a brick at the store sign after the ISIS terrorist group claimed responsibility for the attacks in Paris.
Oh, if somebody walking down the street just saw our name on the sign and kind of lost it for a moment and threw a rock through it, or if it was an ignorant person who actually thought this was a bookstore for terrorists.
Charbonneau Harrison says this is the 4th time her business has been vandalized in the past few months. She says she named the store 35 years ago in honor of the Egyptian goddess Isis. Well, some LSU students hoping to study abroad in Paris are now fearing that it may be a dangerous experience. Tiger TV reporter Nadine Abuzada spoke with students who are studying their options.
This past Friday, many incidents occurred in Paris, from bombings to shootings. Sadly, one of America's
Forever.
In Pointe-Coupee Parish, rumors of possible threats at a high school caused some parents to keep their kids home. Parish School Superintendent Kevin Lemoyne says threats at Livonia High School never actually happened and blamed absences on rumors circulating on social media. Lemoyne says on Wednesday one student threatened to, quote, shoot up the school. Pointe-Coupee Parish Sheriff's Office says they are investigating the rumor and that arrests could be coming. Increased security was present at the school today.
Now for your weekly political update. The governor race heats up with the upcoming runoff election and will take place this Saturday. Both David Bitter and John Bel Edwards are emptying their pockets from spending money on TV ads. The candidates spent a total of $17.3 million combined since the beginning of March, according to the Center for Public Integrity. Bitter's campaign spent the most money on ads with $3.8 million, and Edwards' campaign spent $2.6 million. Speaking of governors, Bobby Jindal dropped out of the presidential race Tuesday and plans to tour Louisiana as his governor term comes to a close. Jindal says he plans to travel across the state to reflect on his accomplishments during his term and to continue to improve the state's job growth. Jindal admits he is not sure what the future holds, but says he plans on staying in Baton Rouge. With the upcoming election, Jindal still has not endorsed either candidate, but says he hopes the new governor will make a smooth transition into office. Tiger TV will be on hand at each candidate's election parties. Check our website this Saturday for the real-time updates. In other news, since the Paris attacks, several politicians are voicing their opinion about refugees coming to the United States. Bitter proposed legislation in Washington that aims to stop relocation of refugees from Syria until security measures are put in place. That's all for my political update. Back to Michael at the desk.
Thanks, Jackie. Well, former Subway pitchman Jared Fogle was sentenced to more than 15 years and 8 months in federal prison. The 38-year-old pleaded guilty to charges of child pornography and crossing state lines to pay for sex with minors, some who were 16 and 17 years old. Fogle has also paid a total of $1.4 million in restitution to 14 different victims. The judge described Fogle as having had a, quote, privileged upbringing before becoming obsessed with sex and minors. Fogle worked for Subway for 16 years. The company fired Fogle once a charges surfaced earlier this year.
When we come back, we sit down with a student whose controversial speech brought some controversy to LSU. It's going to be available up next. We apologize for the technical difficulties earlier with Nadine Abasada's story. That video will be online at our website. That's tigertv.tv. An LSU student speech on how to seduce women has gone viral. And now he's sitting down with Tiger TV reporter Larissa Bonaquisti to explain how he had 2 goals in mind: boost confidence and get laughs.
My name is Brandon Dorner, and I'm going to teach you guys how to seduce women today.
What began as a last-minute speech for speech class soon made marketing major Brandon Dorner well known across the LSU campus and generated comments from popular websites as well.
I planned on doing my speech on how to tie a tie, and my dad used to own a suit store, so I was like, yeah, I've always grown up knowing how to tie a tie. He always taught me. I hadn't done it in like 4 years, so I just procrastinate, and I wait for the day before, and I start tying a tie. I'm like, I suck at this. Like, I can't remember how to do this right.
Dorner knew that he had to think of a new topic fast, and his friends came up with the idea of a speech on how to seduce women.
So I thought, hey, I like making people laugh. I hate seeing people like have problems and like get insecure in front of the class. So I'd be like, yeah, I'll help them out. I'll get some enjoyment out of it. They'll enjoy it. I'll make a funny speech making fun of guys who actually treat women like this.
However, for his own protection, his professor advised him to take the video down.
The administration was just, I got in a few emails, and they just wanted to make sure that I knew some of the rules at LSU and going forward not to offend anybody.
Media law professor Louis Day agrees that Dorner had the right to give the speech, but believes that professors should give more guidance on speech topics in the future.
I see no problem with an instructor approving topics in advance to make sure that there's some consistency in the content that's going to be presented.
Dorner loves comedy, and in 2012 he created a YouTube channel for the sketches he comes up with. He says he's not sorry he did the speech, but is sorry if people are offended. For Tiger TV, this is Larissa Bonaquisti.
Now on to a different type of speech, one given by a woman named CNN's Hero of the Year.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 2015 CNN Hero of the Year is Maggie Doyne.
Maggie Doyne received the honor. Doyne used a decade's worth of savings earned from babysitting nearly $5,000 to build a school, women's center, and a children's home in Nepal. She now runs the Blink Now Foundation to support these efforts. At the event, she thanked the people of Nepal for their support and left the audience with an inspiring message.
And to all of you in this room and who are watching, please, please remember that we have the power to create the world that we want to live in just as we want it, and that's what all of the heroes here have done tonight. Thank you so much. This is so cool.
Doyne was chosen from this year's top 10 heroes in an online vote by CNN's audience. She'll receive $100,000 for Blink Now. After the break, you may not need to leave a tip at restaurants much longer. But does that mean food prices go up? We'll show you next.
Well, one national restaurant chain has dropped tipping from its menu, instead paying its servers a set wage. Though a few Baton Rouge restaurants have made the switch, Tiger TV reporter Brett Hauser explains why some local servers say the payment switch could be a recipe for success.
18 Joe's Crab Shacks nationwide have implemented no-tip policies, though the Baton Rouge location is not one. The chain's owner, Ignite Restaurants, announced that employees would see their wages increase to $12 to $14. Menu prices would also rise up to 15%, but people in Baton Rouge are generally for this policy.
Yeah, I will pay more if I didn't have to tip.
Okay, and have to tip.
I don't think I would mind, no.
CEO of Ignite Restaurants, Ray Blanchette, said in a statement, "It's simple, really. We believe that consistently great service should always be included in the menu price, so we are taking the responsibility of paying the service staff. But how will servers react?"
I don't think it would affect my service more than it would just affect how much money I would take home at the end of the night. Because I feel like with tipping, you would end up getting more.
Some people worry that quality of service will decrease, though, since servers have set wages.
But if it was a really bad waiter and you don't want to tip them that much, I guess it would kind of, take away your liberty of giving them what they deserve.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think that they wouldn't do what they do right now for tips.
For now, no tipping policies remain just an experiment. With Tiger TV, I'm Brett Hauser.
Owners of Joe's Crab Shack have not said whether the policy will extend to more locations or if it will be removed altogether.
When we come back, you've heard horror stories about social media, but when it comes to finding a job, could your Facebook statuses cause a nightmare?
We'll be right back.
Many students hear it throughout high school and into college. What you do online can affect you getting a job in the future. But how true is this? Tiger TV reporter Michaela Morgan logs into the risks of social media in a career.
Look both ways before you cross the street or check your screen. Social media on college campuses is on the rise.
I think when you're in college, you think since you're not out there in the real world that what you're putting out there doesn't matter yet.
LSU junior Carly Willis says she witnessed firsthand how social media can affect a career, which for her was positive.
And that's what's so great about it is you can make your own career from it, or it really could destroy your career depending on if you're putting bad things out there.
And posting online without thinking could be a lot more damaging than some students may think.
Online presence is permanent. I strongly recommend that you think before you post.
CEO of Wireless IQ, Ben Marcel, says that even apps like Snapchat can impact your future if used the wrong way.
Even with social media platforms that say that it's only temporary, it's out there somewhere. And whatever you post online can and will follow you forever.
But when used in a positive and professional manner, social media can bring about some rewarding moments.
My mom and I started a blog called Follow the Reverie, and it's been a really fun experience, but through that we've come through a lot of business deals because a lot of companies have reached out to us and given us free clothes. So it's really cool. It can be a really beneficial experience if you use it right.
For Tiger TV, I'm Michaela Morgan.
A different type of media star will be in our city. Tom Cruise is filming a movie this week in downtown Baton Rouge. Due to the filming, police say North Street will be closed between the river and the state parking garage between 5 a.m. and 8 p.m. until November 23rd. Other street closures will occur, and you can visit the BRPD website for more information on how this will affect your trip downtown. Cruise is in town to film Jack Reacher 2, Never Go Back. That movie will be released in 2016. And Cruise was in town earlier this year at the LSU Florida football game. You might have seen him. And up next, after the break, we join Tiger TV Sports Director Johnny Lombardi to show us how LSU football is hoping to make a comeback in Oxford after the 2 straight losses.
Hello everybody, Johnny Lombardi here and welcome to sports. After last Saturday's 31-14 loss to Arkansas, it's been a whirlwind week for the LSU football program and for head coach Les Miles. After the 2-game losing streak, reports have arose questioning Miles' future as the Tigers head coach going forward. This Saturday's game in Oxford is being called by some a must-win game for Miles. There's always been a contingent of fans against Miles since his arrival in 2005, but for the first time the concern that Miles is coaching for his job has never been higher. While preparing for the Rebels, Coach Miles and Tiger players are preparing to avoid a 3-game losing streak for the first time in over 15 years.
I think we all understand our responsibilities. I mean, in this room, certainly, I stand at the front of the room. I have the lion's share of the responsibility.
You know, moving forward, I feel like you can expect a lot of energy out of this team, and it's the team to make big plays. And a team that's going to fight for these next 2 victories as hard as we can.
Last season, the Tigers upset an undefeated 3rd-ranked Ole Miss team 10-7 in Tiger Stadium. A year later, LSU head coach Les Miles could be coaching for his job. If you have any thoughts about Miles' future with the program, tweet them to us at ttv_sports. Kickoff is set for 2:30 p.m. on Saturday on channel CBS in Oxford. Let's take a look at some of the other games going on around the country. Obviously, LSU at Ole Miss, the big game in Baton Rouge, arguably the biggest game for the Tigers in a long time with the Miles situation. Number 9 Michigan State traveling to Columbus against number 3 Ohio State, a huge game there in the Big Ten. Number 10 Baylor hits Stillwater against Les Miles' former team, the number 6 Oklahoma State Cowboys, and another Big 12 game, number 18 TCU at number 7 Oklahoma. A few shake-up games in the Big 12 this weekend. Well, it's been a rough 2 weeks for Leonard Fournette as well, but it was announced Wednesday that Fournette has been named as a semifinalist for the Doak Campbell Award, which is given to the nation's top running back. Fournette currently leads the nation with 1,474 rushing yards and also leads the nation with 163.8 yards rushing per game. Fournette is also 2 touchdowns shy of tying the LSU school record for touchdowns in a season. Switching over to the hardwood, no coaching concerns for LSU's Johnny Jones. His 23rd-ranked Tigers have started the season off 2-0 with big wins in the PMAC over McNeese State and Kennesaw State. Ben Simmons and the rest of the highly touted freshman class have played just as advertised in their first 2 games of college. The Tigers are set to face off against South Alabama tonight at 8 p.m. in the PMAC before heading to Brooklyn this weekend. Fans who bring a non-perishable food item to the arena can receive a $2 ticket to the game to support Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank. Tip-off again is set for 8 p.m. and the game will be televised on the SEC Network. That's all for sports. We'll be right back with more news after this.
Well, that's all the time for today, but don't forget you can catch clips and updates to these stories and more on our website. That's tigertv.tv.
Also, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at LSU Tiger TV. Also, if you're interested in becoming an anchor like me or a reporter like me, just kidding, for Tiger TV, join us tomorrow in Hodges Hall for anchor auditions. They'll take place in our studio from 1 to 4.
Thanks for watching, and have a great evening, Tigers.
Have a great evening.